A very good afternoon to you. Staying windy as we end the week, little change there, but some much awaited winter sunshine set to return, brighter skies for a time, if quite chilly. Temperatures a little lower as we head into the weekend. This is the earlier satellite and radar picture, wonderfully sunny across central and southern locations. Brighter skies here and there for the east of the Pennines. Otherwise, a lot of cloud cover with blustery downpours across northern and western counties, moving through thick and fast in those keen and at times gusty winds. They'll be making some headway from west to east, and some will be intense, heavy and thundery, with rumbles of thunder as well as some hail. A wintry mix of sleet and snow across the highest ground of Scotland. For all of us, a chilly feel to the day, even with those brighter skies. And a cold start to the night with the clearer conditions as temperatures slide. And then as the night wears on, things go downhill. The winds whip up, and another fresh deluge of rain. A soaking come the small hours, with a wintry mix of sleet and snow across northern Scotland. A very good afternoon to you. Blustery winds and bursts of rain as we slide into this Saturday. The sunshine in short supply, and all the while staying mild for the middle of winter. This is the earlier satellite and radar picture. A good deal of cloud cover, keeping it disappointingly grey and gloomy. A touch better and brighter through these western zones for a time. Cheerful blue skies and limited sunshine, but this will be short-lived with the cloud cover and those blustery bursts of rain making some headway from west to east through the course of the day. With the brisk winds, some stronger gusts in exposed southern and western zones, and temperatures of around about 12 or 13 degrees, miles higher than you'd expect at this point in the year, just a touch cooler and chillier through parts of northern Scotland there. And all of that blustery wet weather continues to work its way in from the west through this evening and tonight. The brisk winds keeping mist, fog and frost at bay. A little calmer, a little clearer through the northeast come dawn, and here the best chance of early Sunday morning sunshine. A very good afternoon to you. After a bright start for many, it's all changed as we head through this afternoon. Blustery and wet, a good deal of rain, often heavy and intense, and as we head into the weekend, turning a little chillier as temperatures slide. This is the earlier satellite and radar picture, the earlier sunshine just hanging on across those eastern counties, but an awful lot of cloud otherwise, and rain working its way from west to east at quite a pace in these brisk and at times gusty westerly winds. Intense bursts with rumbles of thunder as well as some hail, and together with those gusty winds, thoroughly unpleasant through the afternoon. Some quite challenging conditions for some locations with those heavier downpours, and with the colder air across Scotland, a wintry mix of sleety snow here. And for all of us, a chillier feel than of late, with temperatures a little lower. Through this evening and tonight, yet more wet weather working its way in from the west, a fresh deluge, turning chillier for parts of Scotland and northern England, turning frosty in places here. Good evening to you. After a thoroughly disappointing week of weather, and that's an understatement for some of us, the chance of brighter skies set to return tomorrow. In the meantime, brisk, at times gusty winds and gales, yet more wet weather, some of the rain intense, heavy and thundery, and feeling increasingly chilly as we approach the weekend. Strong gusty winds and gales for parts of the north and the west as the week draws to a close, and yet another fresh deluge of rain through the end of the week and the start of the weekend. And then we draw in much colder air through the second half of the weekend, the return to frosty nights, and staying very windy with yet more wet weather waiting in the wings as we head into Sunday. As for the next few hours, strong gusts with gales in exposed northern and western spots, and a good deal of wet weather to come in the form of intense, prolonged downpours, thundery with hail in places, and together with those howling winds, a noisy night on the cards for some of us. A switch in the wind direction across northern Scotland, making it feel colder here. The downpours turning increasingly wintry with sleet and snow across the highest routes. Blowing snow here, giving some poor visibility, and lows of just 2 or 3 degrees. A little lower in the countryside. And for all of us, a chillier start into Friday morning. The sunshine in short supply initially, staying really quite windy out there with blustery, gusty downpours rolling through the north and the west, intense and thundery with a chance of hail once more. A wintry mix of sleet and snow falling across higher ground of northern Scotland where it stays cold all day. For the rest of us, a very chilly theme as we end the week. The temperature's likely to struggle, but a better chance of brighter skies set to return. Some cheerful winter sunshine for many of us. A very good afternoon to you. It was a horribly grotty start to the day with blustery winds and a good deal of wet weather. The rain moving through in the next few hours to allow it to become a little clearer and a little chillier tonight as temperatures slide. This is the earlier satellite and radar picture, a blanket of cloud across the bulk of Britain and Northern Ireland. Disappointingly grey and gloomy. The earlier rain has now moved its way into the near North Sea, only to be replaced by another batch of wet weather from the west. Several hours of solid, substantial rain to come, pouring for a time, with blustery, gusty winds to accompany that rainfall. Thoroughly unpleasant, with lots of surface water and spray on the roads giving poor visibility, and all the while staying miles milder than you'd expect it to be given the time of year, with highs of 13 or 14 degrees. And all of that blustery wet weather working its way from west to east later. And then clearer skies tonight. Brisk winds and blustery downpours into the north and the west. Temperatures slide a few degrees, a wintry mix of sleet and snow across Highland and central Scotland come dawn.